I want to start this video off with a question. Are you free? This is extremely relevant when we discuss anime's new biggest hype train, Chainsaw Man, as the question of freedom permeates every inch of the series, especially as it pertains to Denji. Is he free? This video is an attempt to answer that question. I'll look into what exactly freedom is, how the mind operates, and what would happen if we let fear literally take over. Before we answer those questions, however, just know this video is safe for everyone caught up with the anime. Okay? Okay. So, without further ado, welcome to Chainsaw Man. To me, having true free will is having the ability to make decisions not based around external factors, especially other people. And in this regard, Denji very clearly doesn't have that. If he chooses not to fight devils, he will literally just be killed off. So while technically speaking he could choose to stop fighting, when the alternative is death, that's certainly the one condition where it isn't really a choice. Denji has to fight the devils and fiends, and it is other people that directly restrict his freedom in this instance. So, case closed, right? Well, not exactly. Because what's easily the most interesting part of this is that he is more or less completely okay with the situation. In fact, he's not even just okay with it, he's happy about it. Ecstatic even. A real 10 out of 10. He directly says multiple times that he's living the dream just by having food on his plate, and he means it from the heart. So why? Why is he like this? There is perhaps not a single shonen protagonist that has faced the depths of poverty more than Denji does. When his father's death leaves him with an insurmountable amount of debt to pay off to the Yakuza, he has no choice but to work for them. What's so brilliant about Chainsaw Man then is that Denji has almost always been forced to fight devils and fiends against his will, even when it wasn't shoved in the audience's face. Even so, he dreams. He dreams of jelly on toast, of taking a girlfriend out on a date, of giving his adorable chainsaw dog a better life. Denji is a dreamer, that fact is undeniable, but his dreams are a bit, well, normal. I could go into my kitchen right now and spread some strawberry rhubarb jam on some toast, and even though it's whole wheat bread, I can still enjoy that snack. And I use that word very intentionally, because for Denji it wouldn't even be a meal, it'd be a dream come true. You can't know what you don't know. Everyone has dreams, that is perhaps the one freedom that can't be fully taken away. But they can truly be restricted. Someone from a lower class may have a dream of buying their first home, while the son or daughter of a millionaire may dream of the day they become a billionaire. While people from any class can dream of anything, when you look at it in a general sense, I'm sure it pans out this way. Because dreams are spawned from desires, and desires are a want of something we don't have. Simple stability is sadly rare for those in the lower class, so they desire it. If they had it, they would want more. Denji is a hyper-extreme example of this. He literally has nothing and has probably always experienced having nothing. So the things he wants are simple because he quite literally can't imagine what's beyond that. He doesn't even realize that freedom even exists in the first place, having never been exposed to it. To him, fighting devils isn't the worst part. Instead, poverty is. His freedom is not only literally restricted from those around him, but also by his circumstances, or more accurately, his knowledge. He can't want what he doesn't know, and he literally discovers jam on bread in the first episode. Of course, the horrific implications of this is that our minds are primarily developed from our circumstances, most especially during childhood. What Denji accepts as good living simply is not okay. He shouldn't be forced to fight bloodthirsty devils just for a basic living, but it's unclear if he will ever feel otherwise. Even if he eventually gets used to what he describes as the high life, he may then just develop the line of thinking like, I don't deserve anything else, or I was born to fight devils. Confusion and new experiences can quickly give way to a feeling of worthlessness in this case, especially once he gains the knowledge of other possibilities and higher dreams, and then is left to ponder a single question. Then why was I born without these things? The slope towards self-oppression, always caused by external oppression, is a slippery one. As we discussed in my Cyberpunk Edgerunners video, this can be even more damaging than external, since even if you leave or escape the circumstances, that feeling of worthlessness can still follow you, restricting your freedom. Denji is certainly not yet at this stage. He's still a bright-eyed kid in a seemingly whole new world, but it's not hard to imagine that he could eventually become this. Not even just from logical thinking, but also from the show itself. In episode 4, Power makes a declaration that Denji's new dream was a foolish reason, and yet says the same thing about her own desire to protect the uber-adorable Meowie. So then, what is a good reason to do anything? The show hasn't explored this fully yet, but I assume it will at some point considering this foreshadowing, and that Denji will come face to face with this truth about his own life. Where Chainsaw Man goes from an entertaining watch to truly horrifying is when we question how this applies to our real lives. I've discussed this in other videos, but our concept of free will isn't as solid as it may initially appear. If it is truly your circumstances that affect your dreams, then I wouldn't call it a stretch to say that's your environment and every interaction you have that develops your mind. And since your mind is what makes every decision you make, then any choice is more of an amalgamation of different environmental factors than a decision made from your own concept of free will. That is, if you define free will as being independent of external influence. What I'm saying here is that your very mind itself is born through that external influence, so you inherently, as long as you are human, lack free will. We as people are unique in that we never had the best bodies to survive, but instead developed the best intelligence largely through our advanced communication network that we were forced to develop. Everything else, from society to weaponry to deciding what seasonal flavor of latte you want today, these were all birthed from that communication. You can't know what you don't know, and yet everything you do know is taught to you, and this is vital by somebody else, or by your own circumstances. Denji was taught to desire simple things because he was taught of their existence, yet his terrible life restricted him from experiencing them. This is what we call a lack. I wanted to be a film director because I was shown a wide variety of movies from my father. I wasn't explicitly taught to want to be one, but of course it isn't that simple. It's a complex web, but it always comes back to circumstances, and it always results in you not really having free will. That's the simple explanation, especially as it pertains to Denji, but for a much more comprehensive analysis of this question of free will, you're just going to have to watch this video here. I want you to imagine this scenario. You're terrified of seals, like the fear is absolute. If you were to see a seal right now, you would probably soil yourself just because of how scared you are. And you are not alone in this. Exactly 59% of this world's population is terrified of seals. You can even call this an anti-seal reality. You're walking to the store. It's a pleasant day with the birds chirping above you and a gentle breeze gliding through the leaves, lulling you to sleep. Pure serenity. But then, everything seems to halt. The song of the birds stops, the breeze stiffens, and the people seem to be staring up with abject horror. You follow their gaze and see it. An impossibly giant seal with a distorted, uncanny grin on its face. Everyone stops, and then everyone screams. The fear you feel at this moment is unexplainable, indescribable, inconceivable, incomprehensible, unreasonable even. You cannot reason why such a thing could possibly exist, but it does. It's undeniable that it does. And as you watch it start to eat people, consuming them not just mercilessly, but indifferently, you begin to question what kind of world this is. With a morbid smile on your face, you wonder what the point of all of this was. And then you are faced with the disturbing truth. In this kind of world, with these fears, you are never free. Easily one of the most interesting parts of Chainsaw Man is the devil system, how they're a manifestation of fear of a certain thing, and that the stronger and more widely applicable the fear, the more powerful the devil. I've honestly rarely seen more interesting and simple bad guys, and the way in which it further plays into the restriction of freedom is pretty brilliant. Cosmic horror is a difficult subgenre to pin down, since it's rather all-encompassing. To question not even just your own existence, but how the universe itself works, what horrors can underlie its mechanisms, is a fear represented in so much media and philosophical conversation. In essence, it's a question of everything we deem as incomprehensible. The devils of Chainsaw Man take this notion quite literally, however. They present the Lovecraft-esque monsters right in front of us, and while that makes them less Lovecraftian, it certainly makes them more of a threat. We still can't comprehend them, especially later on in the manga, though. Fear itself is a very abstract concept while also being very widely applicable. But I think the devils in Chainsaw Man can even be boiled down to one question. Why do they kill humans? This is, of course, a metatextual question as well. Just as people in the story ask why the gun devil kills others, we as the audience ask why people kill each other with guns. Both questions at their root are rather incomprehensible. Every time we try to rationalize violence, we boil it down to human nature. But what exactly is that nature? Why is violence such a prominent part of evolution with all species on the planet? We can say survival of the fittest, sure, but why are we so apparently intent on surviving that we will hurt even our own species? I'm not sure. Of course, what makes these questions even more disturbing is that since both the answers for the devils and ourselves seems to boil down to abstract, inescapable nature, then they just further represent a termination of our free will. I mean, so far we only really have two sides of the self-development problem, nature versus nurture, and yet both sides seem to point towards the same inevitable truth. We have no freedom or real choice in the matter. Never mind the literal devils killing people based on their own fears in the story, that was restricting enough. But as I think I've made it clear, the questions are what should terrify the reader the most. Because at the end of the day, this is what we take home with us. That, above all, is what we must live with. Welcome to the end of the video. I hope you're doing well, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. I've been trying to be a lot more consistent with content lately, so expect a lot more videos to be coming in the near future. Speaking of, please comment what anime, games, or anything else you'd like me to cover next. I don't exactly have a solidified slate of content to make, so any suggestions would help a lot. I am thinking about covering Mob Psycho 100 Season 3, or Bocchi, definitely Bocchi the Rock. Looks interesting. There's also a few games I want to cover. Maybe I'll finally do part 2 for that milk outside a bag of milk outside a bag of milk analysis. People can dream, right? Right? Anyway, I'm glad you found your way to the channel and this video. And, as always, thank you for watching.